Hi, Rebecca. Welcome to MovieJunk. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Saya. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. I can't thank you enough for joining today, Rebecca. Fans of Cobra Kai know you as Tory's Aunt Kandace. You snuck up on us in
Oh,
season 4.
oh
And
yeah, I did.
you're also in one of my,
Sorry about that.
yeah, you
I'm
snuck up
so,
on us. And you're also in another one of my favorite shows, House of Cards. And you're
oh
also in
yeah.
Falcon, the Winter Soldier. Again, can't thank you enough for stopping by today.
Oh, it's actually my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. And the fan in me wants to jump right into Cobra Kai. I know we were just fresh off of the last release, but we did mention
Yeah.
that you were in House of Cards and you had a chance to work with Mr. and Mrs. Underwood. What was it like working on that show?
It was pretty cool. I will tell you that. I mean, Kevin is incredibly well credentialed as well as Robin.
Yeah.
And at the time when I was on House of Cards, it was season 4. So it was really, I think at its peak to, so to say, because people have finally caught on to, well, back then the whole idea of Netflix, because it was
Yeah.
still kind of new, I suppose. I mean, it's certainly not as common as it is today. I think you find it in just about every household anymore.
Yeah.
So for me, and to be honest, it was my first television gig. I had done a lot of indie film and some other smaller budget studio films, but that was my first television credit. And it was simply because a casting director that was on the East Coast decided to check out talent a little further west and go into like the southeast, and that included Nashville. And somehow I got on the radar of that casting director and made it onto that show. And so I get a scene, as small as my role was, with the two leads of the show. And it was incredible. I mean, it was really cool. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
mean,
I'm gushing about it.
that show, House of Cards, was awesome. I mean, to be honest, if I'm not mistaken, that may have been the reason why I subscribed to Netflix, because I remember it was
Wow.
House of Cards and Lilyhammer, which were the two shows that kind of kicked off the
Yeah,
streaming, because it was kind of new back then when this. I think
it
House of
was.
yeah, I think House of Cards was 2013, and so season 4
Yeah.
would be 2017, I imagine. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that
It was
would.
around there. Yeah. I was thrilled to be a part of it, and um and still consider myself pretty lucky to have been chosen to be on that show, especially to work with those two. And, they were as professional as can be. It was so funny because Kevin to me was very much Frank Underwood. It
Yeah.
was like he was working that, staying in character kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I did not want to disturb him.
Yeah.
But Robin was so sweet, and she made sure to welcome me to the set and just be kind. And so that was really, it was a fun experience.
Yeah, I mean, Robin always to me is going to be Jenny from Forrest Gump.
Right.
Yeah, and,
Oh my God. That or Princess Bride.
or Princess Bride too. Yeah, her with Andre the Giant. Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, and both Kevin Spacey and Robin were amazing. I mean, especially when she kind of took over the torch in the final season. That show was just unbelievable. I always kind of, the fan in me was kind of always hoping that maybe we can get a just a movie, like just a one-time limited movie or something like that. But the way they ended, it was just awesome, and excited
Yeah.
to see you partake in a very, very popular and successful show. But
Yeah.
you also made it on another successful show, which is also on Netflix, Cobra Kai,
Oh.
season
Oh.
4, and you play
I know.
Tory's aunt. Yeah, and again, we actually had the privilege of also interviewing Susan, who was Homeless Lynn, and you guys share a scene together as well too. But before we kind of get into that, what was that audition process like? How did you
Oh
hear
yeah.
about the show? I mean, please share your journey with us.
Of course. So I knew that Cobra Kai was out there, but I hadn't started to watch it yet. I was a fan of the Karate Kid movies. I remember when they came out and I loved them. Especially the first Karate Kid, because it was genius, and it was heartfelt, and it was just everything. It was everything in one film. And so anyhow, my agent, I got an audition for this character, this woman named Kandace. And so I had not watched the show yet. And so I had to watch an episode, which is kind of like, the work that an actor does to get familiar with, especially if there's a show, if it's a running show and you have that luxury of finding out what it's about. So I got the feel of the show. And then the character, as you can tell, is, kind of grungy, right? She's,
Yeah.
I literally rolled out of bed and barely brushed my hair for this audition. I didn't put any makeup on. I just threw on just this ridiculous tank top because in the audition, I'm smoking. Tory's character pulls me before, there's what is actually seen in the show, I pull her, but there's also a moment where right before I say that she has a quick temper like her old man, she pulls me in like we're going to have a fight.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of physicality that I had to work out in my audition. And, an audition, when you're put on tape, is you have this much space. This is your space, so you just have to find your movement in the space, the little audition space. So from what I understand, and I didn't know this until I got on set and talked to the directors, but they had gone through 2 sets of auditions for this role. And this third go around, I was in that bunch of actresses and they decided to go with me. So I think they had a,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so they didn't have really, I guess it just took a while to find, precious Aunt Kandace.
Yeah. Did you have to screen test with Peyton List at all, or once you landed the role?
No, I didn't. Nowadays, it's so common for everything to be booked off of tape.
Yeah.
And I do on occasion do callbacks via Zoom, like this platform. I have done that, but anymore, especially because of COVID, everything is just taped and taken from there. So, the role when I booked it was possible recurring. So,
Yeah.
I was excited about that.
And I mean, obviously, we know that the character of Tory, I mean, she can defend herself, right? Is it bad that the fan in me wanted homeless Lynn to step in and kind of, see you guys kind of get into an altercation, or maybe even because she's been sitting in front of the Cobra Kai dojo for a few seasons now. Who says that she's not watching and she hasn't picked up, a few moves since then? So we
I
always for that.
think that would have been so brilliant and so much fun. And by the way, I fell in love with Susan Gallagher. She and I have now become friends, and she's just such a sweetheart and such a talented woman. And what she brings to the screen for Homeless Lynn, I think is so endearing. This kind of wacky woman, and she's feisty, but yet she still has a little bit of a heart. Like she was sitting there eating that, I think it was a burrito or something at the beginning of the scene, this like little, smile of contentment on her face.
Yeah.
And, but what I wish everybody could have seen was the rest of the scene. After I say tick-tock to Tory, I have an interaction with Lynn. And she does try to school me, but I bite back pretty badly. And I don't know if that will be in a director's cut, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, when we had our interview, it was actually a year ago now. We had discussed, there were some rumors that were going on online that maybe she was the mother of Tory.
I love it.
And we always knew that, Tory's dad, kind of had a temper. It was always kind of hinted that he was kind of a bad guy, to say the least. So when you
Yeah.
kind of reinforce that, there's also a rumor that Mike Barnes might be her dad. If you remember Sean Kanan from Karate Kid
Yeah.
2. So by you
Yeah.
kind of reinforcing that, we may, that might be a possibility.
I think that the theory of Mike Barnes is a good one. I mean, I could see that working, because he was, pretty intense.
So,
Yeah.
and so you mentioned that, there's a possibility of this, role being a recurring, and season 5 is already wrapped. So we can't get any hints whether or not we're going to see your character.
Yeah. Yeah. They sign you up to secrecy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's awesome that it's already filmed, and we're in the post-production stage. Hopefully we can get Cobra Kai this year as well too. Hopefully in December again.
Hope
Uh,
so. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if it came out sooner and then they got going on season 6, if there is to be a 6, and hopefully there will be. And I don't know.
yeah, because the kids are no longer kids now. I mean, they've grown so much. You're kind of starting to notice that. Obviously, during the I think one of the characters I noticed the most was Miguel, compared to where he was
Oh,
in season 1
right.
to now.
Yeah.
And these guys are
And
both.
because there's not a lot of time, there's no time lost between the seasons, even
Yeah.
though there really is in real life. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's something to consider for sure.
So this is I know you mentioned earlier that you were a fan of the first Karate Kid. During there was 4 movies that came out. Is it safe to say that the first one was your favorite, or do you have a favorite of the Karate Kids?
Well, I guess the first one really left the biggest impression on me, to be honest with you. I just remember that. And I just remember, just being blown away by, um, just Danny's plight, right? And what he was going through, and, defending himself and becoming friends with Mr. Miyagi, and just all of that it was just so novel at the time. Right. So that's why I think it, to me, holds such a dear place in my heart.
Absolutely. And this is more of a fan question, and switching to another actor who's one of my favorite actors in movies like Braveheart and Troy. You had the privilege of working with Brendan Gleeson. What was it like working with the man himself? For one, it just seems like he always looks the same, and he doesn't age to me. But what was it like working
He's
with him?
he's just like this cuddly man. Oh my gosh. So it was a fast and furious day. They were really rushing that day, if I remember correctly. And did we shoot in Charleston? Yeah, we shot in Charleston. That was Mr. Mercedes.
Mhm.
And so we didn't have a lot of hanging around time. But what I remember was we would work the scene, and he was wonderful to work with, and he was wonderful to get a little rehearsal in. And then at the end, he gave me the biggest, most awesome bear hug that I will always remember. So really nice man. And that wasn't such it was a frantic scene for him. I don't know if you've seen the show, but his character is not in the best of places.
Yeah.
And he's trying to find his daughter. And so, it was, his character was going through something, but he still was just super kind and wonderful to work with.
He's so versatile. I mean, you see him in dramatic roles. He's also extremely funny as well too. I love seeing him in a war type environment.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we can get one more kind of like a major war film with him, just because he just fits that
Right?
part so well as well too.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Braveheart, one of my favorites. Oh my gosh. I'll always remember him in that role.
Yeah,
Always.
Braveheart.
Yeah.
He's in New York. He was amazing in that as well too.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
definitely wanted to sneak in a Brendan Gleeson question. And I also would hate myself if I didn't ask kind of, how it all started for you. I know you mentioned that you made a lot of independent films kind of when you first started out, but what initially gave you the passion to want to get into the business? Was there like a film, an actor, actress that kind of inspired you? Because you have, well over 80 credits to your name, but kind of what got you started?
Yeah. Gosh, that's a great question. For me, I I did not pursue being a professional actor until really about probably started a couple years before I booked House of Cards. And so prior to that, like my background when I was a kid, I did theater, musical theater, but it was all on the community level. So, in school or summer theater, kind of that kind of thing. And then I went to college and did not get a degree in theater. I went the business route, got married, had kids, and just kind of let all of it go, even though it was still in my heart. And then I moved to Nashville, around 10 years ago or so. And there was something that said, there was something I just wanted to just explore it again. And when I Googled acting in Nashville, there were just maybe 2 acting schools. So I signed up for one, and there was a wonderful teacher. He was just so great. And he just kind of kept me going along. He found me my first agent. He put me on my first film set. He's just a great man. And it just kept snowballing. And I had no idea. I just had no idea. But I can say that, like for me, whenever I was prior to getting into pursuing acting as a profession, whenever I was having a tough time in life, which we all have, it's hard to avoid. I would find that for me, going to the movie theater and having 2 hours where I could escape and I would just go to a film by myself was like the best medicine for me.
Yeah.
And I would just lose myself, let go of all of my whatever was going on in life, and just relax or be entertained or just be transported. And I thought, how amazing to do this for others. And that's what got me really thinking about it that way. So telling stories, because it's something I really believe in as an actor, and then being able to entertain in any way, shape, or form for anyone watching just makes my heart so happy, because I know what that is like. And I still love to be transported and entertained by other actors and other shows and films out there. So that's kind of how I got my start.
Yeah,
In
no,
it.
definitely. I mean, we were able to kind of escape, into a movie, into a TV show, and when we kind of like, for me, I'm a huge Sopranos fan, and every time I watch it, or rewatch it, it's like watching it for the first time, and you kind of get into that world. It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Last Action Hero with
Oh
Arnold,
yeah.
where the kid
Yeah.
actually goes into the movie. That's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah. Doesn't it?
We're able to
Yeah.
escape.
Yeah. Just lose yourself. And I mean, we need that sometimes, or a lot of times, or whatever, but I think it's really important. Arts are important in our lives, no matter how you choose to explore the arts, whether it's, photography or painting or sculpture or stage or whatever it is. It helps to reflect life.
Yeah.
And when we see life coming back at us in some kind of way that we can connect, that makes us feel less alone, less anxious. I don't know. I sound like I'm a therapist now.
Well, this is, I think probably a dumb question, but now being that you've, that you are in the business, is it harder to kind of get into that world, knowing that, like, the behind the scenes of making a movie? Can you still easily transcend into a film, or is it different now because what goes on into making a film, the behind the scenes, the photography, the pre-production, post-production?
Yeah, that's a great question. I can't watch something without having a thought like that coming through my head at some point. I will admit to that. But when it's so well done, and there are so many shows out there that are well done in film, I can lose myself.
Yeah.
And then I'll reflect back and say, oh my God, The photography was incredible. The score just moved me. The costumes, like all of it, because it is such a collaboration and every single part is so important. Every role behind the camera, in front of the camera, post-production, pre-production, all of it is critical to the success of the project. And I like that I recognize that now.
Yeah.
Before I didn't, when I didn't know all of the components, I didn't quite understand. And now that I do, I love it. I love seeing it all come together and to like take little mental notes while I'm watching.
And you've been on a tremendous run, these last few years, and I'm hoping that we could see you in season 5 of Cobra Kai as well. Are you able to share some of your upcoming projects that we can see you in?
Well, what happens nowadays? You have to sign these NDAs. So I did just do, there's a new show on a really cool network, and it's a limited series with a great cast. And I'm really excited to be a part of it. I wish I could tell you, but I did sign one of those NDAs. And I also did work on a film last year. It was exactly this time last year. We shot in Louisiana, and that is really getting close to being released. They're in discussions now on distribution and so forth. So that's called Find Her. And I think that is out on IMDb. And I think they're starting to do some social media and so forth on that. But I think that's about all that I can talk about. And then I'm super excited because I do live in the Southeast, and there's so much film production and television production in the South that I'm always auditioning. Like right now I have 5 auditions I need to prep and send off, and they're film and television. And there's a lot of exciting projects out there happening.
Yeah, I get excited when our guests are not able to share some of their upcoming projects, because when they do come out, I use that as an excuse to get you guys to come back. so we can always save those for round 2. And last question that I want to sneak in as well too, and I love asking this question to our guests is, what are the shows that you guys are binge watching when you're not working? Right. So what are you guys binge watching when you're not working? And it can't be Cobra Kai.
Yeah. Well, I did binge watch the first 3 seasons of Cobra Kai right before I filmed. So I was very well, good to go. I just finished watching, binging Ted Lasso. I hadn't watched it yet. I was so new to the game, and I fell in love with Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Have you seen that show yet?
I haven't, but the ratings on it are off the charts, and there's a reference to Ted Lasso. You'll see like something almost every day. That show is getting really good reviews. It's on my list. I want to see it. It's
just such a feel-good show. Mm-hmm. It's just just warms your heart. And so if you need it's just like you love The Sopranos, which is a great show. I loved The Sopranos as well, but it's dark and it's heavy. I mean, Ted Lasso is different. It's the other side of things. So it's light and wonderful. Succession is one of my favorite ones right now. That's really, I am in love with that show. The writing, the cast, so well done. And to be honest with you, right now, I am rewatching and binging the heck out of 30 Rock.
Oh, nice. Great show.
I love that show.
Great show.
So funny. Yeah. So I'm on season 3 right now. I don't know why I'm going down this journey again, but I'm doing it and it's fun.
Because you enjoyed the journey the first time and you want to relive it. And you catch things that you like. I've probably seen The Sopranos, the show, maybe 20, 25 times over and over again. And every time I rewatch it, it's like watching it for the first time.
Oh my God, that's so impressive.
Yeah, I just love it. I love it. Well, it's fun for me. I actually joined Sopranos around season 5. That's when I first started watching it. I didn't even have an HBO subscription. I had to go to a relative's house and I would watch it there. So I started
Yeah.
in season 5, and then once I finished, then I saw the finale. Then I actually rewatched the first 4 seasons. And did you get a chance to watch the movie, The Many Saints of Newark?
No,
Oh yeah,
no, wait.
they made a film. Yeah, it's a prequel film.
I have not watched it. Thank you for letting me know about it.
Yeah, it came out. It was a limited theatrical release. It's on
Okay.
HBO, so you can watch it today if you'd like. And it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. It deals with Johnny Boy Soprano, Uncle Junior. You know how they're brothers, and Dickie
Yeah.
Moltisanti, who's Christopher's dad.
Yeah. So what did you think of it? Did you like it as a prequel?
So it's definitely a film made for the fans. So there's a ton of
Mm,
references in the film. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I
yeah.
really enjoyed it. It seems like they're setting it up to where they're going to do a series
Yeah.
for
Oh,
two. So yeah, and then
that's cool.
I was reading David Chase just got a 5-year deal. So it sounds like they're going to build off of this film. I really enjoyed it. I watched it. For me, I had to watch it 3 times just because the first time you watch something that you've been waiting so long for, you're kind
Yeah.
of like in an excitement. You're not really taking it all in. But the second time I
Right.
watched it, I appreciated it a lot more, and then really, really enjoyed it the third time. It's
Oh,
different.
good.
Yeah,
Good. I will have to check it out. Thank you for letting me know about that. I don't know how that was not on my radar, but now I've got something else to watch because there's just not enough out there to watch these days, you know?
absolutely, absolutely. And Rebecca, just want to be respectful of your time again. I just want to thank you again for
Oh.
joining Movie Junk. We're going to steal you back once we figure out if you're officially cast in season
Hmm.
5, and some of your upcoming
Yeah.
projects as well too. But really enjoyed seeing your character. The second I saw you on, I was like, man, I was like, she's already making an impact, and I want to see how this character is going to impact Tory as well too. Because we feel bad for her. She's going through a lot. She's kind of being portrayed as the villain, but I don't know if she really is. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff going on at home. Your character's not helping her out too much, but we'll see. Maybe you'll get some redemption next season.
I think that Tori, her storyline deserves a backstory,
Yeah,
because it is nice to know, and we do have the bad guys and the good guys, right?
yeah,
But it is always interesting to know, why is the bad guy such a bad guy?
yeah,
There's always some reason that causes this to happen. And I think bringing Aunt Kandace in and having Aunt Kandace show who she is and reference Tori's father, I think that helps to tell the audience, oh, okay, she's not had such an easy time of things. Not only does she have to take care of her mother, who's bedridden, and her younger brother, but she's had to deal with a potentially abusive father and this aunt who is, a little less than loving. So yeah,
yeah.
go
No,
figure why Tori is as tough as she is.
she's tough. I wouldn't want to come across her in the streets. And yeah, I
And
definitely.
just so you know, Peyton is a sweetheart. She is sweet.
She's awesome. She's awesome every
Yeah.
season, and she's doing such a good job. And I'm just so impressed with the just the growth that we're seeing of these characters. How and
Yeah.
it's different from the karate that we're kind of used to. Like it seems like it's evolved. Like the fight scenes have evolved into this generation. But I do want to touch on what you said about kind of the characters that are the villains and kind of why they're the villains in the backstory. Like with Kreese, he's becoming kind of like a surrogate father to Tory as well too. It's like he was someone that didn't seem redeemable, and
Mhm.
we saw what happened to him in the final episode. But all great
Yeah.
writing, all great writing.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, what's interesting is bringing Silver in now makes Kreese look so like, you know, approachable and maybe
yeah,
slightly kind.
yeah,
So yeah, I think they're doing a great job. The writers, creators, I think they're doing a wonderful job with this show. And I love the viewers. I think that there's just such an incredible community of Cobra Kai fans out there that just are, I'm having a blast interacting with everyone. Just really great people.
yeah,
So
exactly.
thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. Welcome to the fandom. I mean, it's only gonna pick up even more from here. So yeah, thank you very much for stopping by, and looking forward to setting up for round 2.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.